The fortune teller didn't warn me that destiny would look like a smug bastard leaning against a moving truck with arms crossed, staring at me like I was a punchline. No, she had smiled cryptically and said, "Tomorrow, your life will change. You'll meet the one you're fated for." I thought she was just hustling $20 off a lonely guy. But standing there, frozen at the sight of him unloading boxes across the street, I realized the universe had one hell of a sense of humor. His name was Ethan Miller, the boy who made high school hell for me, the boy who laughed when I tripped, who spread rumors, who knew exactly how to cut me down with one glance. And now, he was my goddamn neighbor. I wanted to slam the door, pretend I hadn't seen him. But Ethan noticed, of course he did. His smirk widened. Well, didn't think the suburbs would come with ghosts. My chest tightened, equal parts anger and something I didn't want to name. Guess karma's got a sense of humor. I shot back. Hope you like thin walls. He chuckled, low and familiar, and I hated that it still curled around my spine like smoke. That night, I lay awake listening. Through the too thin walls of our side-by-side houses, I could hear muffled music, a shower running, a laugh that didn't sound cruel anymore but tired, lonely. And against all reason, I found myself wondering how Ethan had ended up here. The next morning, fate shoved me further. I was jogging down the street, trying to outrun the irritation thrumming in my veins, when I nearly collided with him. He had earbuds in, hair damp with sweat, and when he yanked one out, the look on his face was almost surprised. "You still run," he said softly, like he remembered. "Some things don't change." I tried to pass, but his hand brushed my arm light, hesitant, nothing like the cocky boy I remembered. "Hey, wait, can we talk?" I should have said no. I should have told him to shove his apology somewhere dark. Instead, I stood there, heart racing, caught between fury and a pull I couldn't explain. We sat on the curb, the sun creeping higher, burning my skin, or maybe it was just him beside me. Ethan didn't start with excuses. He didn't try to downplay what he'd done years ago. "I was an asshole," he said plainly, staring at the pavement. "I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even forgive myself." The honesty disarmed me. For years I'd pictured this moment, imagined him groveling, imagined myself spitting the words he once threw at me. But hearing his voice now, low and raw, made anger taste different in my mouth. "Why?" I asked. Just that one word, sharp as broken glass. He sighed. "Because I was scared. Because I thought hurting you would hide the fact that I..." He cut himself off, lips pressing together. "That you what?" He looked at me then, and for the first time his eyes weren't mocking. They were soft, vulnerable, shining with something I couldn't name. "That I noticed you. That you mattered." The world tilted. My chest ached. I hated him. God, I hated him. And yet the way he said it made the edges blur. Over the next days, fate kept pushing. Broken sprinklers, power outages. Mail delivered to the wrong house site was like the universe wanted me to stand in his doorway, to hear his voice, to feel the subtle shift in the air whenever our eyes met. One evening, I found myself helping him fix a jammed window. We were too close, the space between us electric. My hand brushed his, and he didn't pull away. "You ever think about how weird this is?" I muttered, trying to steady my breath. He gave a small, crooked smile. "Weird?" It feels like he stopped, searching my face. Like maybe we're not enemies anymore. I should have laughed it off. Instead, my heart betrayed me, thudding so loud I was sure he heard. By the end of the week, the fortune teller's words haunted me. Destiny. Fated. I'd scoffed at it, rolled my eyes, but every time Ethan lingered on the porch, every time his gaze softened when it landed on me, I felt the possibility unravel inside me. Maybe fate wasn't about lightning bolts or grand gestures. Maybe it was about two broken boys meeting again, older, rawer, braver. And maybe, just maybe, I wanted to believe. The storm between us came one Friday night. It started with something stupid, me car refusing to start, and Ethan offering a ride. I didn't want to owe him anything, didn't want to sit in his car where the air felt too charged. But I said yes. On the way back, we argued, old wounds ripping open like they'd been waiting. You don't just get to show up after all these years and act like you've changed. I snapped. You don't get to undo what you did to me. His hands tightened on the steering wheel, jaw rigid. I know I can't undo it. I live with it every damn day. But don't you dare act like I don't care. The words hung heavy, louder than the rain outside. When he pulled over, he didn't look at me right away. His chest heaved, his throat worked like he was swallowing glass. You were the only person I couldn't stop looking at, and I hated myself for it. So I made you hate me instead. It was cowardly, cruel, but it was the only way I knew to survive. My anger cracked then, just slightly, because the truth in his voice wasn't something I could ignore. Terrified me, how much of myself I saw in him: fear, shame, longing. I whispered, "Do you even understand what that did to me?" Finally he turned, eyes wet, raw. Yeah, because it did the same to me. After that night, we didn't talk for days. But silence was its own kind of violence. I'd catch him on his porch, cigarette burning low, staring into the dark like the answers lived out there. I'd pace inside my house, restless, his presence pressing through the walls. One evening, when the loneliness was unbearable, I stepped outside. He was there again, leaning against the fence. Our eyes locked, and all the anger I'd clung to felt thin, fragile. "Ethan," I said softly, "I don't know if I can forgive you." His shoulders sagged, like he'd been holding up the weight of a lifetime. "I don't need forgiveness. I just need you to see me now." And for the first time, I did. Not the boy who tormented me, but the man standing here, stripped of armor, terrified and hopeful all at once. The shift came slowly. Coffee on his porch turned into shared dinners. Silence turned into laughter, tentative but real. The nights grew warmer, and so did the way his hand sometimes brushed mine and lingered a second too long. One night, he walked me home, the air thick with crickets and the glow of streetlights. At my doorstep, he hesitated. His fingers trembled as they tucked a strand of hair behind his nervous habit I'd never noticed before. "I don't want to ruin this," he murmured. "You already ruined me once," I whispered back, heart racing. "But maybe you're the only one who knows how to put me back together." The kiss was soft, almost fearful, but it carried years of regret and something that felt dangerously like hope. Summer bled into autumn. Neighbors began to notice we were inseparable, but I didn't care. The boy I once hated was now the man I couldn't imagine days without. One afternoon, as the leaves fell around us, Ethan handed me a small envelope. Inside was a card from the fortune-teller shop I'd gone to months before. He had scribbled in shaky handwriting, "Maybe she was right. Maybe you were always my destiny." Tears stung my eyes. I pulled him close, his arms tightening around me like he was afraid I'd vanish. "You're still an idiot," I whispered into his shoulder. "Yeah," he breathed, voice breaking into a laugh. "But I'm your idiot now." Life wasn't suddenly perfect. We still fought, still stumbled over the shadows of our past. But we also built something stronger, something carved from forgiveness, patience, and the kind of love that doesn't ask for permission. And every night, as I lay beside him, his fingers laced through mine, I realized the fortune teller had been right. Destiny doesn't arrive with fireworks. Sometimes, it shows up wearing the face of the person you once swore you'd never love, only to prove you wrong in the most beautiful way. That was the twist of fate. My worst enemy, my broken past, my impossible neighbor had become the home I never thought I deserved. And this time, I wasn't letting go. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.